Everybody talks about success once it looks clean. This clip is about the messier part people usually leave out.
Undefeated as well. There's a stable of fighters there that are ready to become stars, and you guys seem like the star makers.
Yeah, I think, look, it all goes back to what Jake and I always say. We're a fighter-first organization. UFC was the great learning ground for me, both good and bad. And there's no doubt that they're the best promotional entity in the world in terms of being a large organization that has capabilities that others don't. But what we've done in 5 years, no sports entity in history has. And we've done it without losing a single dollar. We've broken record after record. And there's no better person in the world than Jake Paul to bring attention and engagement to a product. So PFL has amazing athletes. John Martin, who is our new CEO, sent me an article not too long ago that says PFL is on an incredible run, but more people need to watch and know about it. And that's what we're going to do together.
I want to ask, how did you change the structure? How did y'all change the structure for fighters? Because you keep saying it's way different. You're empowering fighters. How did you change
Number
the
one
structure?
is revenue share, right? The vast majority of the revenue, always 50% plus, should go to the fighters. That doesn't exist at UFC. They always say, oh, fighter compensation has gone up, but it hasn't kept up with the entity's compensation. As you guys know, in most ball and stick sports, the rev share is 50%, close to. That's nowhere near the case with UFC and TKO. They have some of the biggest margins in the world, and that's driven by athletes. And that's what he said to me in 2019 is these athletes need to get a bigger part of the pie.
Yeah, no, I mean, the UFC is paying roughly like 10% of their earnings when it should be closer to 50%. That's why you see all of them wanting to go and box and cross over to the sport of boxing where the money has been bigger. And that's, this merger has combined a boxing entity and an MMA entity, and now fighters can do both. We can have them do a big boxing event, or they can go and do MMA like I'm going to do in the near future as well. So I think that's never been done before, and really that's what fighters want. They want the flexibility to be able to do what they want and to make the money that they deserve. They also want the viewership. They want the credentials out there in the world. They want to be famous and known for their craft. And there hasn't been a place where MMA fighters can go and get the same amount of viewership as the UFC, if not more. Yeah. And so that, I think, was the missing piece, even beyond the money. And now, even with other leagues and fight organizations, I think we'll see fighters, that will hopefully fight out of their contracts to be able to come into our organization and get the pay and the freedom and flexibility that they deserve.
Jake, is it all about, for you, because you are a creator, because you are a fighter, how have you continued as also a co-founder and owner to keep that fighter first mentality? Because the margins would go to you two, right, as the founders and the owners, if you wouldn't give the fighters so much. What has made you so steadfast in staying that way?
Yeah, it's a great question, and this is what we've always said is Nikisa is a wealthy man before we started this company. I am a wealthy man before starting this company, and we didn't need the money. We still don't need the money. And so every other person and promoter in the business, their families are fed by the revenue that they get from being a promoter, whereas to us it's just like slightly incremental, but we put everything back into the business. But everyone else is doing it to get rich. We got rich before we started this company, and that's really
no doubt
difference.
We want to create enterprise value and create additional equity value for ourselves. But the belief has always been the most valuable entities on the world are the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the EPL. And the vast majority of the revenues, or close to 50%, goes to the athletes. So it only inures benefit to your asset to have athletes who fully believe in, are happy, and feel like partners. So when we talk about Jake being a fighter, of course he's going to get paid extremely well, and he's a partner in the firm. And any athlete that comes to MVP knows that we're going to give them that opportunity, right? It's about pivot, which is a P, but it's about platform, push, which results in pay. We have the platform. We provide the push. You put on amazing performances, the pay is there.
Well, I mean, from an athletic standpoint, Jake was on the list right there with Erling Haaland. And I saw You know, just a slight tweet, you know, just like you just put it out there. You didn't say much about it, but just showing that as an athlete, this is what he was able to produce.
Yeah. And also as former athletes, I can speak for the both of them. We commend you guys for, you know, trying to take care of the product, which is the athlete. And it sounds great, but companies have investors to answer to, right? And as business gets tougher, like how do you guys continue to maintain that philosophy while also having to maintain business?
I mean, I look at the WNBA. Those investors, those owners have been investing for close to now over 30 years. And they've lost money for a very long time. But those asset values have continued to go up. And now they're at a point where their asset values and their profits are going to go up, right? Because the league has this influx of superstars and the world is paying attention. So our belief is the same. We're not losing money. We've never lost $1 at MVP, but we've never made a lot of money. It's been an exercise of building a brand, building these fighters, building conviction in women's boxing, building conviction in our capabilities. So I have no doubt that we can maintain it and create a lot of equity value.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say like Uber, one of the biggest companies, you know, just became profitable a couple of years ago after so many years in business, but the enterprise value is still so big. And so, yeah, just pushing and being smart. We have one of the best guys in the world that has our back on that side of things. But just believing in the growth and the continuation of the fighters and being able to put on big events and have big rights deals with these, you know, platforms like ESPN, Sky Sports, and Netflix.
As disruptors, you're disrupting something that's been going on for a long time. The 10% to the 50% and all. Any pushback, any hate from what has been happening for so long, and now y'all are coming in and changing things?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of pushback, there's lots of hate, there's lots of resistance, there's lots of behind the scenes moves that get made to try to hold us back or hold us down consistently. There's, you know, a lot of negativity that goes with it, name calling, etc. But it's all for the good. If they're paying attention to what we're doing, that's a great thing. We did the first ever press conference with Jake, Mike Tyson, and Ryan at Fanatics 2 years ago. Guess what? Every year since then, UFC's been there doing their press conferences. So we continue to disrupt, lead the way. Others take what we've done and run with it. But we think it's worth the effort, worth the hate that we get for it.
And also, too, with, I guess, some of the pushback, for you, having been a part of UFC, understanding the boxing world, understanding the combat sports world, what is your end game, right? What's the final goal of this business?
That is the part worth sitting with. Would you still chase the same thing if everyone saw the road it took to get there? Leave your take in the comments and like and subscribe for more clips like this.